Hi everyone, my name is Breanne Aylward and I'm a PhD candidate at the University of Alberta in Edmonton, Canada. I'm so excited to present some preliminary findings from a survey that our team conducted on young people in Canada's emotional responses to climate change. So we know that climate change can evoke emotional responses, including feelings of worry, sadness, anger, anxiety, helplessness, and more. And although young people may be uniquely vulnerable to such emotions, we still don't have a clear picture of the prevalence and severity of climate emotions among the general population. We also need more research to understand who is most at risk of emotional distress from climate change. So, how do things like age, gender, income, ethnicity shape young people's emotional experiences with climate change? Despite Canada's susceptibility to a wide range of climate hazards, few studies have examined climate emotions among young people in Canada. And so, given all of these gaps, we aim to answer the following research questions. To what extent do young people in Canada experience emotions related to climate change? And what socio-demographic factors are associated with climate emotions among young people in Canada? So the study is part of a larger cross-sectional survey, which included young people and adults from across Canada. We used a multi-stage, multi-stratified random probability sampling procedure. So participants were randomly recruited through either an addressed letter or a telephone call. And we used online and telephone questionnaires to interview respondents between April 2022 and March 2023. Data were weighted by age and province using population estimates from Statistics Canada, and then analyzed using descriptive statistics, factor analyses, and multivariable regression analyses. So through a confirmatory factor analysis, we identified two distinct types of emotional responses to climate change. So climate change worry and climate change hopelessness. And climate change worry included feelings of concern, worry, sadness, anger, anxiety, feeling scared, stressed, tense, and depressed. And climate change hopelessness included feelings of hopelessness, helplessness, and powerlessness. So when we look at young people experiencing the highest level of climate emotions, we see that there's a greater prevalence of strong climate change hopelessness compared to climate change worry. However, most young people in Canada reported feeling at least mild levels of worry and hopelessness related to climate change. We examined young people's emotional responses across numerous socio-demographic factors and found some really interesting similarities and differences between climate change worry and climate change hopelessness. So I just want to zoom in on a few factors that are listed in this slide. So for both worry and hopelessness, responses were higher among non-binary respondents compared to cisgender women or cisgender men. When we look at just climate change worry, we see that responses were higher among urban respondents and those with the highest annual household income, so of a household income of $100,000 or more per year. However, there's no significant differences for climate change hopelessness based on household income or whether respondents lived in a rural or urban location. And then interestingly, we saw no significant differences between worry or hopelessness by age or by respondents' experience with climate change. So for example, if they've been directly affected by climate change. So collectively, our findings suggest that most young people in Canada are emotionally affected by climate change to some extent. And we see that some socio-demographic factors, but not all, play a role in shaping how young people respond emotionally to climate change. So whether they feel more worried or more hopeless, or whether they feel stronger levels of both emotional responses to climate change. Thanks so much for listening to my presentation, and I'm really excited to take any questions.